Have you been told there's metal in your transmission fluid or that your transmission fluid is burnt? You're going to want to listen to this because we're going to save you thousands of dollars. I am Dave Riccio here along with John Riggle. Together, we are the host of the Bumper to Bumper podcast, where we're putting you in the know when it comes to your car, common car terms, themes, things you're going to hear when you go to the service shop, what to be aware of. Hopefully, we can save you from some pitfalls, things gone wrong. And John, this is the most common thing I hear when somebody's at another shop, and sometimes it's a general repair shop. I hear it from the dealerships from time to time as well. But I hear, hey, my car is over here, and they're saying there's metal in the fluid, and I need to replace my transmission, and it's going to be $6,000 or $8,000 or $10,000.
Right.
And I even had this come up with a friend of mine who owns an auto shop, Spencer at H&I Automotive. He called me. He said, hey, the lady that built my house, the builder, she's got metal in her fluid. It was a 6F35, I believe, was the transmission on it.
Okay.
And needs a transmission, Dave. How much? I said, there's no metal in the fluid, Spencer. Bring it over. We looked at it, and they were worried about his shift, and you looked at it, and you go, yeah, it's a typical thing you see as far as metal.
Yeah.
What is metal?
Right.
And you looked at it, and you go, yeah, it just needs a valve body.
Right.
That was 3 years ago that we put a valve body in her car for $1,500. Whole lot less money than the $6,000 or $8,000 transmission that they were considering for her. And John, metal in the fluid. What does that mean to you when you hear it?
Well, that's one of these terms. There's always metal in the fluid. After these things are operated, I mean, even a short period of time, they start to shed small amounts of metal. So whenever you pull a transmission dipstick out and look, if you look close enough, you take a flashlight and shine it on it, you'll almost always see these little sparkly bits of metal in
glitter.
it.
It looks like glitter.
It looks like glitter, yeah. And that's perfectly normal. That's gonna be there. I mean, literally every transmission after it's been operated, I don't know, some period of time.
Yeah, there's a lot of
But
tight
it's always
tolerances in there. There's a lot of moving metal pieces, planetary gears, sprags, things like that.
Yeah.
And so stuff is going to come off of that stuff. That's why there is a filter in there.
Yeah.
To pick up some of that stuff, because some of that stuff is normal. And so you're telling me that pretty much every transmission has already got metal in the fluid if it's got any life to it.
Yeah, it's always going to be there. Now, the trick is determining whether it's too much, right?
Right.
I mean, I've pulled transmissions apart. It looked like all the pieces were laying in the pan,
Yes, yes.
Especially, we get these CVTs with the broken belts and stuff. When you pull those out, you have a
ton of
1,000 little pieces of that belt in there, and I mean it makes a good sized pile in the bottom of the pan.
That metal is metal in there,
Yeah,
metal in the fluid, but that's a transmission that's somewhat exploded or broken apart on the inside.
Yeah, we're talking about transmissions that may have some subtle shift issue, or people are talking about maintenance issues, things like that. And we'll have them roll in where they don't even move, but and people call it, it's a no move. The fluid's discolored. There's metal in the fluid, and they just want to jump in and replace the transmission. And you have no idea. I mean,
And they also may think they're doing the customer a good service, but they don't know what they don't know necessarily. So, because I do see that where I'm going to give you the example. How many cars do we fix because the shift adaptations are bad?
Well, lots of them.
I mean, it's several in a week.
Yeah.
A handful of them in a week, and they've already left somewhere else. So they're over at XYZ Acme Auto Repair.
Right.
And they say, hey, you tell them, my transmission's working funky. And they take a look at it, and they go, yep, we drove it. It's definitely working funky, and it's got metal in it.
Right.
So, yeah, it's time for a transmission to be $10,000 or whatever that number is.
Yeah.
Okay, so they say, I don't know, 10 grand, I'm going to think about that. And then it ends up over to our shop, and you check it out, and you go, yeah, man, it works pretty good.
Yeah.
We just need to clear out the shift adapts. We clear out the shift adapts. But that fluid condition, the metal or the color of the fluid, is used to justify recommending you a transmission.
Right. I mean, because that's the other half of the conversation that we usually get. The fluid's burnt, and there's metal in the fluid, okay? Well, the first thing about the burnt fluid is, yes, fluid does burn. It comes up with a real acrid odor when it does.
Yep.
But most people don't know what burnt fluid actually smells like. Most people and a lot of technicians, when they sniff the fluid,
Uh-huh.
they think it smells bad. Well, some of the fluids do smell
They do,
bad. The
right out of the bottle.
ZF8 stuff is
Ugh.
nasty smelling stuff,
Yeah.
right? If you were used to the smell of old Dex 3 or something, and you smell some of the newer fluids, you'll go, whoa, there's something wrong with that.
Yes.
All these fluids have different odors, and I do it on occasion. I've got to go, well, is
Yeah.
that okay or not? And I'll go back and grab a bottle off the shelf and see what the new fluid smells like, because some of them coming right out of the bottle have
Well,
this odd odor. So it's not something you can just say it's burnt because of the odor.
Yeah, and if you look at our check-in sheet, you fill them out every day. I've got the fluid color,
Right.
and then I got fluid smell.
Yeah.
And so in there I have burnt, but I also have varnished, and
Mhm.
that's where the confusion happens.
Yeah.
They'll pull out a dipstick and that fluid looks brown, so they call it burnt.
Right.
It's not burnt; it's just varnished.
Yeah. Yeah.
And totally different thing. And not only that, it could be just simply discolored. And I'm going to give you an example: the 6F35 in the Ford. Let's call it an Escape.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can service it. Fluid is done with the service is nice and cherry red.
That's the one that people complain about the most, is the 6F35. I see more of those where somebody has pulled the check plug out of them, and the fluid coming out of those things is black. It's absolutely black. Back in the day, there was a TSB about it that said, ignore it if you see this black fluid. It's
Yeah.
because, and they blamed it on the anti-corrosion coatings that they put on some of the pieces inside the trans. And I bought into that for a while, but I've seen these transmissions.
Yeah.
I've seen them built, and 2 months after they're put back into service, the fluid's black in them.
Right.
And I've asked everybody I know. I said, why is there only the 6F35s, and the 6F50s will do it too? Why are they always black when you pull it out? And everybody just kind of shrugs, and it's like, the way they are. It just looks like that. You can't condemn the transmission based on the color of fluid alone.
Well, and this is where experience or just know-how. So you literally look at, I don't know, every week, 40, 50 dipsticks.
Yeah.
So you
it's a
know
lot.
you have a sense. Now you're at a general repair shop where the guy, he kind of sort of knows, but he's not looking at. I mean, you're looking at BMWs, you're looking at Fords, you're looking at Audis, you're looking at all the ranges, and the model of transmissions in the things. It's just experience from seeing it so many times. So you're not quick to condemn something. You're quick to go, we just did that Jeep where it was an engine problem, and they had gotten a transmission recommendation from the dealer, and they said the fluid was burnt.
Oh, yeah.
You pulled out the dipstick or the check plug or whatever that one had, and it was nice and cherry red.
Yeah.
So I get a little touchy about that metal in the fluid, or the fluid is burnt. So someone may be calling it burnt when it's only oxidized or varnished or just simply discolored because of metallurgy or coatings or whatever.
Yeah.
That is not a determination of a bad transmission. Let's just rule that out right now. Don't determine a transmission's bad because there's metal in the fluid.
Yeah.
Sometimes there is. You can rule it when there's chunks.
Yeah.
And then don't rule it bad because the fluid doesn't look cherry red. The fluid could be very well oxidized.
Well, yeah. And even on the flip side with the odor thing. So generally, if I smell burnt fluid, by the time it gets to me, if it's really burnt, I'm usually gonna condemn that transmission for an overhaul. If that fluid has that real strong burnt odor to it, but I can't do that always, because I've had some roll in here. We had the van with one of the
thermal bypass valves.
with one of the thermal bypass valves stick. The things overheat real quick. Well, if you shut them down and get the thing towed in, yes, that fluid's burnt, but really hasn't done any damage to that trans yet. If you caught it on the first couple of times it did it, we can replace the thermal bypass valve. We can flush that fluid out of there, get it changed, and you're good to go.
Well, you're talking about ZF8, Lifeguard 8's stinky fluid, right?
Yeah.
Not burnt, but when something's burnt, and the best way I can relate it to is think about burnt barbecue. Throw a couple steaks on, turn it on high, and walk away for 2 hours and come back. That's what burnt
Yeah.
smells like.
Yeah.
And so
It's a very distinct. Once you've smelled it a half a dozen times, it's a very distinctive odor, and anybody in the transmission
business knows.
business has smelled it wafting through the shop when the builder pulls it apart on the bench. Right, that stuff is
stinks up the whole
the
shop.
whole thing. Yeah.
And we don't even get that much anymore, though. We don't get a
we
stunk
do.
up shop. Every now and then we'll get
every
one.
once in a while. Yeah.
But yeah, so burnt fluid is not something that we're seeing tremendous amounts of. It's generally something different that, and the failures on transmissions have changed over the years. In the old days, you had a lot of hard part failures. We don't really see hard part failures.
Yeah.
The modern automatic transmission fails for an internal hydraulic leak. That's would be the most common, or some sort of valving issue. But yeah, so that's the beware. If someone says there's metal in the fluid, I'd like to see what that looks like.
Even this discoloration in the fluid. People talk about discolored fluid. The fluid's brown or discolored or something. Well, it's tough because, like with the CVTs, with the Nissans, we've got NS2 and we've got NS3. One of them's blue coming out of the bottle, one of them's green coming out of the bottle.
Yep.
But 2 weeks after you put that fluid in,
Can't tell the difference.
it's an amber color.
Right.
that dye just goes away. So I've had people complain because they thought somebody put the wrong fluid in it because they had it serviced, and 2-3 months later they checked it. The fluid's not the green or blue color that they expected to see,
Right.
and they want to complain and think that somebody didn't do a good job of doing the
Yeah,
service.
I've heard that before. Yeah.
That's not the case.
Right.
It just
Discolors quickly.
That's just a dye. That's so they could identify the fluid. I don't know why.
Well, a couple things I will say, and I get someone that call. I take a lot of phone calls, and the first thing out of people's mouth is how much, how much, how much, how much.
Yeah.
And I said, tell me what's going on with you. Go over and I say, well, it sounds like it needs to be diagnosed. And they'll say, well, it's at my mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
And he says the fluid is burnt and it's got metal in it and it needs a transmission.
Mm-hmm.
I heard that on that $6,000 Chevy truck that you fixed with a fuse the other day.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they heard from the general repair shop.
Yeah.
Fluid's burnt. There's metal in it.
I saw that on the ticket. Yeah.
Silt, exactly. You know which one I'm talking about. And he says, so yeah, how much for a transmission? I don't know. We got to check it out. He says, well, my mechanic told me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, unless he's a transmission guy, that doesn't really mean much to me.
Yeah.
And they go, well, come on, no, he's been around a long time. That's great. There's proctologists and there's neurologists.
Yeah.
They are both doctors.
Yeah.
Right? But I am not going to my ass doctor to find out what's wrong with my brain. I'm just not going to do it. He may give me a little advice, but you know what he's going to say at the end of it? He's going to say, but I don't know shit about brains.
Yeah.
Check with your neurologist.
There you go.
So that's kind of the difference that I see, and people don't realize that. And if you're a generalist, you don't necessarily know how to just fix or decipher because you're not looking at 50 dipsticks a week. You're looking at a couple, like with an oil change, does it need service, does it not need service? And I'll take it a little step further on the fluid thing because they took the dipsticks out of cars on most of these transmissions.
Yeah.
No one's really checking fluid anymore.
Oh yeah.
Not until there's a problem. Even when there's a problem, they don't even check it.
Even when I have them roll in all the time, and they say the fluid's burnt or discolored or something, and it's one of the ones without a dipstick. And I can look at the check plug, and I know nobody's pulled the check plug or the drain plug.
Not even a witness mark on it.
Nobody's touched anything. You know, they called this on the service drive.
Right.
It's like, oh, come on.
Well, one of the things I've been, my background before the transmission business was general repair. That's where I started in general repair shops. So when I purchased a transmission shop, I thought, transmissions, how different can it be, right?
Yeah.
I was a little naive on that. There was a quick learning curve that had to happen, how much I had to pick up that I didn't know. And back when I was in general repair, I regularly gave people bad advice about their transmissions. It was well-intentioned bad advice because I really wanted the best for them. I cared about them. I just didn't know what I didn't know. And so, that comes up. And we can fix things without just replacing things. And, what I was going to say about that is I like to hire for our service writers people that are not from the transmission business because they don't have any of those things that go along with somewhat of the reputation of the transmission business because I don't want to do it the way the transmission business has done it for years. I want somebody that's got no bad habits.
Yeah.
So if they come out of a general repair shop, great. I can train them the way I want to train them. and they can do it the way I want to do. And Joey said, "What's a podcast about today?" Joey's down there answering phones.
Yeah.
I said, "We're talking about metal in the fluid, and we're talking about burnt fluid." And he goes, "Oh yeah, that was the number one reason I recommended people transmissions. Oh yeah, you got metal in the fluid.
Yeah.
It's internal. Need a transmission." And so, but he's a good guy. He wouldn't intentionally do that, but that's what his technician told him. That's what he went with. And so it can be different that way.
Well, even along with the metal conversation, the important place to look for metal in a transmission as an indicator of what's happening in the transmission is on the inside of the filter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so even when people pull these pans down, they look and they see the magnets. A lot of these transmissions have magnets in the bottom of the pan.
Right.
That magnet's there because we know that these transmissions
Make metal.
shed a lot of metal.
There's a point. That's
So
why the
the-
filter's there.
So the magnets are there to kind of try to keep that stuff out of suspension, pull it out of the fluid as much as possible. Okay, so we've got these magnets down there. Well, people will pull the pan up. Those magnets always look like a chia pet, right?
They do.
And there's tons of TSBs and stuff with pictures of them that say, this is normal. Do not condemn the trans based on this.
Right.
And what I'm looking for when I'm looking, and sometimes you'll see it in the bottom of the pan, see a big stripe or something down right underneath the inlet to the oil filter, and you'll see a stripe of metal down there. It's just like silt. It looks like sandy silt or something like that. That stuff's normal, man. That stuff's going to be there. What I'm looking for is identifiable pieces of metal. If I see copper-colored little slivers
Washers, yeah.
and stuff, that may be a thrust bearing out of a
Planetary.
I may see piles of aluminum chunks that are a little bit bigger, and a lot of times that's coming out of the converter. And I'm going to touch it with a magnet. See, is it
Aluminum.
magnetic
Mhm.
or is it, is this non-ferrous?
And some of the stuff that you see, because I get this phone call once in a while from a general repair shop. There's a lot of general repair shops that we work with, and they say, "Hey, we got this pan off of this Dodge," and and I have them send me a picture where they got in the pan, and there's a whole bunch of snap ring pieces in there.
Oh yeah.
You know which I'm talking about, the 518.
Yeah,
or
you
the,
can tell what it is. It's part of a snap
It's
ring.
part of a snap ring, and I say that's the overdrive snap ring, and that remember those pieces make up 360 degrees. And they can last a long time like that. It may go 100,000 miles beyond that.
Yeah.
But the way you need to communicate to the customer, because it could die, it could be a problem tomorrow, is just say, "Hey, listen, there's some metal in there. We don't like to see it like this." Sometimes they live a long time after even finding that. But it just is a reliability question mark about that transmission.
Right.
So people can kind of know, they can say, "Well, the transmission might have chest pains."
Well, yeah, and even on the snap rings, the 4R70Ws, they break that overdrive servo snap ring, and it falls down in there, and you lose fourth gear. Those are
we love those. Pull the valve body,
pull
take
the
that piece out, put a new snap ring in.
done.
Done deal.
Yeah.
So, anyway, well, just listening to this, metal in the fluid, or you've got burnt fluid, this is going to save you thousands of dollars. That's why we want to keep you in the know here at the Bumper to Bumper podcast. We'll see you next time. Well, hello, I'm Dave Riccio, your host of the Bumper to Bumper podcast, and I would like to thank you for tuning in. If you want one of your car questions to be answered on our podcast, tap the link in the description for a chance to have your question featured. And while you are there, we would love for you to like and subscribe to see more Bumper to Bumper podcasts in the future.